2009, Drake drops his album So Far Gone.
Uh-huh.
And he samples you on November 18th.
Yes.
And he paid you for that sample.
He did.
How much did he give you? A lot.
He did what he was supposed to do, which was not what he's supposed to. What I mean by it wasn't just about a payment. I'm gonna make sure that you eat. You know, we're gonna make it a publisher. He did it the right way. You know what I'm saying? So the dollar amount wasn't a thing because it wasn't like a work for hire. He didn't work for hire me. You know what I'm saying? And just to be honest, all the samples that I got, lots of artists, he didn't actually sample it.
Right, he quoted you.
He just quoted it.
Right.
And he just felt like he wanted to pay homage and pay that. And man, that kind of springboarded a lot of things, man. Like the sample started, people started taking care of me well for the samples, everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, so now from Prime Video to Crown Raw to Booker T to WWF to Video Game, Southside, the licenses is great now.
What was the most you made in 1 year off of licenses?
Over 200,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
More probably now, but when I first started, like I've hate licenses has been great for me. You know what I'm saying? And that was just probably more now. You know what I'm saying? But at the time, I probably made more off those licenses. But at the time, in 1 year when I first started, got back, like I've had $40,000 and $50,000 licks for 35 seconds of Southside, 60 seconds, and shit like that.
Did you and Drake have a conversation before or after he actually quoted you?
Nope.
You've never talked to him?
I've talked to him.
Oh, okay.
Not about that situation.
Not about that.
His people, man, I just got a call from my people one time, and they was like, man, hey, Drake want to take care of you for this shit. And I was like, really? You know what I'm saying? Based on coming from never getting took care of for that shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So he just did it. You know what I'm saying? And it was for that album. And I've seen Drake. We talked to him, you know, rodeo, everything. But I've never, you know, hey man, I can't believe it. No, never. We just something done.
Well, when we did our interview 10 years ago, we talked about the Lil Flip and T.I. situation. And when I interviewed Lil Flip, I mentioned it. I said, did you hear it? He goes, oh, I absolutely heard it. In fact, I called Lil Keke to talk to him about it. We interviewed Lil Keke about the situation between you and T.I.
I wish Flip would have stayed more like a Kirko right now. From 15 to 25, you know, he was getting so much money like that. He was a young kid, get so much. I just think the gangster approach that he took, it kind of backfired against him because we didn't look at him in that kind of light. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong, like, this serious though. Like, T.I. came to the city and came in the neighborhood and everything, but it didn't go what he thought.
How do you feel about that? Do you feel that's accurate, or do you feel that that's not exactly true based on your point of view?
Well, when I saw the interview, I got him on the phone. I called him, and we had a good hour conversation, and we talked about it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna go into detail on everything we talked about, but like I had to enlighten him on the fact that I battle. You know, like he didn't know I used to battle rap. You know, like because he's like a couple years older than me, so when he started getting hot, you know, he was doing shows and shit, and I was still on the battling circuit and doing talent shows and, you know, shit like that. So, you know, I had to tell him, like, yeah, man, we battle. Because also in the interview he said, we don't do that battle shit, you know what I mean? But he didn't know that that's how I got my name, battling and freestyling. So, you know, we had a talk, a grown man talk. You know, didn't nobody scream at it, didn't nobody call a check, nobody, no shit like that. Like, we brothers. At the end of the day, we just screwed up click.
Yeah.
What was that conversation like?
That's my brother. And I wasn't, at the time, I wasn't interview ready. Y'all was a little slicker than I thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause, yeah, y'all a little slicker than I thought. Cause when I'm trying to explain to him, I'm basically saying, man, I'm not even really saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you my brother. I just basically, at the time, I told him, we just had a conversation about it. And I was like, man, I just felt where he was in his career and the money that he was making and what he was representing. I felt like it was unnecessary for him to even engage in the beat. It just went the other way. Man, we got one of the best relationships right now. We do lots of music, lots of shows, and we good. You know what I'm saying? He's probably the younger one of the screwed up clique, not young. We all getting a little older.
Well, he was the youngest Was he the last member signed? Well, not signed, but the last member of Screwed Up Click? And the youngest at the time?
Well, he probably wouldn't even tell you that because there's so many more that felt like they came, you know, that's a part of it after that. But when I say he was the youngest, because I always be relating it to the music. You know what I'm saying? Which one it's so many of us that came from over there, but the ones that do the music, I think he's probably the youngest one from us doing music, like Keke, Mo, Pat, all of us that did music from a tape standpoint, probably so. But he's represented the family well. He do it, and we family, and we good, and we got a great relationship.